Hi guys, and welcome back to Top Speed Golf. Today we're going to take a look at a website member, Mark's golf swing. Really good player, a 2 handicap, average driving distance is about 270 yards. One of the things that he struggles with is that he says he hits kind of some weaker cut shots off the heel. He feels like he's losing his tush line, his hip line, so his hips are moving toward the ball as he's making his downswing. We're going to talk about how to fix this and also some great things that you can incorporate in your swing that Mark does really, really well. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, so to get started, let's run through some of the things that Mark does well through the Top Speed Golf system. So if we go ahead and we mark the stable fluid spine, so we mark that from the belt buckle up to the center of the chest. There's his address position. This is just absolutely perfect. If we're going to put an angle on this, we'd like to see somewhere around 6 to 9 degrees, something like that. So there's 0. Let's go ahead and mark his, and he's right at about 8 degrees. So perfect as far as his spine tilted address. Let's go ahead and see as he goes to the top how he keeps his spine tilt. And we can see just how consistent he is. So here, his spine angle is overall very, very similar to what it was at address. Now you've also noticed that he's turned his hips about 45 degrees, maybe just slightly more than that. That's fine, perfectly good. This is what we talk about in the power turn. And he's gotten a good shoulder rotation. So not only has he kept his spine, spine tilt, he's also got a good full power turn as he goes back. And then you'll see as he comes down to contact, he's kept about the right amount of spine tilt coming through contact. So it's going to increase a little bit and shift to the left slightly as you go closer and closer to the ball. He's in a pretty good position there. And then as he comes all the way on through for the power turn, we're going to see two things here that I want you to check if you guys are struggling with distance. Number one, get your belt buckle facing to the target. And then number two, make sure that your chest is kind of facing over to the left. So for the right-handed players, your chest will be facing slightly into the left rough as you come through the follow-through. I also like just see how tall he is here. How from the left ankle, left hip, and then to the center of the spine, he's slightly leaning back. The chest is nice and high up toward the sky. You know, nose and head looking nice and high down the fairway. Those are really good checkpoints when you're making the power turn, when you're making a good full finish to make sure that you're doing those correctly. So his stable fluid spine, very, very good. Power turn is very good. Let's go ahead and see how he does on his lag. And you'll notice as he goes to the top of the swing, doesn't fully set the wrist going back. So he doesn't have the sharpest angle going back. He waits until the downswing and actually tightens that up a little bit. So we can see that this angle is actually increasing very, very slightly as he starts down. And he has a good angle of lag late in the downswing. So as he's about halfway down, he's really built this up, which is a great thing to do. And then as he comes through to release, he's getting pretty daggone close to nailing the straight line release where his chest is about 45 in front, and then the club and the forearm would be splitting the forearms at this point. So really, really good there. Nailing the lag, straight line release is really good. Although we can't see the club shaft perfectly, we get that overall it's going to be pretty nice. He does look a little jammed up here, and we'll get to that from the down the line view. But again, lag and the straight line release are also looking good. Let's go ahead and take the fifth fundamental here and see how he does on the compression line. And we're going to see that from the left ankle, the left hip, and the left shoulder are in a great position with the driver. He could be tilted just slightly more back if we wanted to get nitpicky. And this hip right here, we'll go over this. This is the one piece of the top speed golf system, the 5 keys that he could be doing a little bit better. This hip is tending to slide a little bit forward as he's coming into the shot. He wants to keep that hip back a little bit more. So 4 out of the 5 pieces are looking fantastic. The compression line is actually looking pretty good. It's not very far off at all, but that's what we'll get into to really get that down. So we're looking at a 2 handicap golfer here, obviously a very good golfer. For those of you who are maybe higher handicap golfers that want to get better, we can see how the better golfers are completing the 5 keys very, very well, and that's what gives you the consistency and the driving distance and the overall distance in the game to be able to do this. So let's go ahead and take it over to the down the line view, and we'll talk about a couple things that he can improve on to get even better. All right, so here from down the line view, let's take a look at his golf swing, and we'll take a look at the line you could draw on the back of his hips. And what's going to tend to happen, I'll go ahead and go over this before we get into the details of this. You'll notice how his hips tend to move forward, and then his arms are going to feel like they're kind of jammed into his chest. So pay attention to both of these things. Pay attention to the hips as we go through the swing, and also look at the hands and arms as we're coming through here, and let's see how those play out. So in the backswing, looking pretty good. As he starts down, now you can see the hips start to come off of that line. You can see how they're moving this way, and you can see how at contact his hips aren't very open. So for those of you that are familiar with the system, top speed golf system, we talk about how at the compression line that we went over, we said his hips are a little too far forward. We want those hips to be about 45 degrees open also, and we can see that he's not quite open enough. So when you don't open the hips enough, what's going to tend to happen is they slide forward to the ball, and now the hands and arms feel kind of jammed up, and we can definitely see that coming over in his swing. And that causes a couple of issues. Well, as your body slides farther this way, that moves the hands farther this way. That's going to move the club a little farther this way, and that's one of the reasons that he tends to hit a little bit of a weak shot off the heel. Anytime you hit off the heel, the ball is going to tend to cut, and he gets what he calls a weak kind of cut that takes probably 15, 20 yards off the drives when it's not going very good. What we have to do is to get this hip coming back this way so that it can stay on this hip line as he's going back. And there's two things you can do for that. Number one, the hip's got to open more. And number two, you feel like you have to use the ground to get the hips going back in that direction. So at the top of the backswing, he's looking pretty good. I like this position a lot. As he starts down, the main thing he's going to have to focus on doing is not trying to rotate the hips fast, but to get them more open. If he had a rope tied to, let's imagine the left pant pocket. So we're going to pretend we could see through his hips. And let's imagine that you had this rope and you're going to yank on this rope back toward the camera like that. That's going to clear that left hip back out of the way. As he's doing this, what he's going to want to feel like is that he pushes down into the ground and kind of out in this direction. So if you can see, let's actually get rid of that. If this is the golf ball here, imagine right here at the edge of this concrete pad, we put a little dot right there. He's going to push down into the ground and toward that dot. And what that's going to do is that's going to move this hip back out of the way so that it can rotate much more. He's going to go ahead and allow this foot to come up off the ground. He's going to really feel like he's getting his hips cleared out of the way, and that's going to get him to rotate the hips more and to also give himself some more room so that his hands and arms don't get closer to the ball. Now the second piece of that, when we were looking from face on, we saw that he slid a little bit too close to the ball. Let me go back to the face on video one more real quick. All right, so here we are in the face on video. What we want to have happen is we want to keep this hip behind that line or on that line as you're coming through contact. So we can see how the hip is slid up in front of our compression line here. As he opens his hip, he's also going to feel like this hip is moving back this way to allow it to get more open. And we don't want to feel like the shoulder goes back that way. So the shoulder is going to stay right here on this line where it is. It's just the hip that's going to be clearing back out of the way. And then he's going to swing all the way on through. That's going to allow him to open his hips much more as he comes on through the shot and give him a lot more room to get some space away from that ball. So good luck to you guys. Work hard on those. If you feel like you're losing space, that's what you need to feel like. You need to feel like you're pushing down into the ground to get the hip to move back. And you're also going to feel like you're getting that hip to move away from the target as you're doing that. So work hard. Good luck with your ball striking. I'll see you guys soon. All right, so if you're joining us on YouTube, I got a great bonus video for you. One of the things he does really well is get tons and tons of lag. He's really doing a good job getting lag and then releasing lag at the proper time in the swing. That looks really nice in Mark's swing. I got a video that's going to go over the #1 lag mistake that I see time and time again for people who are really struggling with this. You're going to get instant access to that when you click the link that pops up on your screen. If you're on a mobile device, you're going to need to drop down the drop-down menu below to get into the description. Click the link in there, and you'll be able to get instant access to that video. I'm just going to play a preview of the video here in a second. Plus, you're going to get instant access to 5 videos that go over the Top Speed Golf system. So we touched briefly on each of the 5 pieces. You're going to really go over those into depth in the 5 videos that I'm going to give you here in a minute. Go ahead and click on that link now to go to the bonus video, or if you have any questions or comments, post them down below in the comments section. Click the thumbs up. It really helps us to rank the videos and to keep growing the channel. And also remember to subscribe so we can keep good videos coming your way and you'll be notified when they come out. So good luck to you guys. Work hard, and I'll see you guys in the lag video. Hi guys, and welcome back. I'm Clay Ballard, and in today's video we're going to talk about one of the absolute worst drills for creating lag. It's a very common drill that I see. And in this drill, what we're going to do is we're going to set the wrist very early to create an angle of lag, and then we're going to try to hold this throughout the swing. It's one of the worst things that you can do to build lag. I'm going to talk about the science behind why this is the case, and I'm also going to give you a great drill to help you improve your lag, all in this video. Let's go ahead and get started. If I do it this way versus holding that position, exact same thing happens when we're building the lag in the golf swing. So what we want to do is throughout the swing, I want to have a very low and wide takeaway. So I'm not going to set my wrist early at all. If you look at a lot of the top players, you look at Adam Scott, very wide takeaway, not very much wrist set at all. You look at Rory McIlroy, look at Tiger Woods. All these players are using a wide takeaway and not getting very much wrist set, so that later in the swing, as we start down, we can increase this wrist set, and we're really only going to max out this angle of lag for a split second in the downswing. Okay, so a 3-step drill here. Now, as we get started with this, I want to remind you that the fulcrum in this golf club for getting a massive amount of lag is right at the end of the golf club. This is where I want my hinge point to be. I want to use the full length of this club to build lag and then release lag.